What if the biggest secret that has been tightly hidden behind the friendship of two global icons was not exposed by the media, not by fans, but by someone from within their own family circle? Is this merely a coincidence? Or is there something far deeper that has been deliberately kept from the public? That question is now shaking fan communities around the world after a vague, almost accidental confession surfaced from a figure believed to be one of the closest people in Jungkook's family. No one was truly prepared for what was revealed. No one expected that a relationship that had always appeared simple, warm, and full of laughter would carry emotional layers far more complex beneath the surface. And most shockingly, the clue did not come in the form of an official statement, but through fragments of conversation that slowly spread, triggering uncontrollable speculation. For years, the friendship between Taehyung and Jungkook has been seen as a symbol of genuine closeness in the public eye. They are known as two individuals with contrasting personalities who somehow complete each other. Taehyung with his mysterious aura and artistic expression, and Jungkook as a perfectionist filled with determination. But does what is seen on camera truly reflect what happens behind the scenes? Or is it merely a small fraction of a much larger story? The source now at the center of attention is said to be someone who has had direct access to Jungkook's personal life since childhood. In an unplanned moment, they revealed something that initially sounded simple, but soon created a massive ripple effect. The sentence was short, almost unnoticeable, yet powerful enough to make many people begin questioning every interaction between Taehyung and Jungkook over the years. He's always different when he's with Taehyung. That sentence, although seemingly ordinary, has now become the subject of deep analysis. Different in what way? Why does that change occur? And why is this only coming out now? Some fans have started digging through old archives, searching for patterns, trying to find clues that may have been overlooked. They found small moments, lingering glances, silences that felt full of meaning, even spontaneous reactions that now seem to carry a different significance. Is this just overinterpretation? Or could it be proof that something has long been intentionally hidden? What makes the situation even more complicated is how the parties involved have chosen to remain silent. There is no clarification. No denial. Just silence that only intensifies the curiosity. In the world of entertainment, silence often speaks louder than words. And this time that silence feels heavy. Several pop culture observers have begun sharing their perspectives. They believe that extremely close relationships among group members often involve dynamics that the public cannot fully understand. There is pressure, expectation, and responsibility that require them to maintain a certain image. In this context, is it possible that Taehyung and Jungkook have long kept something hidden to preserve that balance? However, others view this from a more emotional perspective. They believe that what has been revealed is not something negative, but rather evidence of a very deep bond. That perhaps their relationship has evolved beyond what is typically seen in ordinary friendships. And if that is true, why should it be hidden? On the other hand, a bigger question arises: why did this information come from the family? Was it intentional? Or simply an unavoidable slip? In many cases, family members are the ones who understand someone best, yet they are also the least involved in public image strategies. Their honesty can be a double-edged sword, revealing truth, but also reopening wounds that were once concealed. As time goes on, more pieces of the story begin to surface. Some recall moments when Jungkook appeared deeply emotional during a live broadcast while talking about Taehyung. Others highlight how Taehyung often seemed to be the first person to seek out Jungkook in certain situations. Are these just habits, or do they carry deeper meaning? Not a few have begun questioning the role of the agency in all of this. Were they aware? If so, why hasn't there been any attempt to control the narrative? Or are they choosing to let things unfold naturally? In an industry as structured as K-pop, every detail is usually calculated. Yet leaks like this suggest that not everything can be controlled. Perhaps the most interesting aspect is how fan reactions are divided into two sides. Some feel touched, seeing this as proof of genuine closeness. They believe that whatever the truth may be, the bond between Taehyung and Jungkook is something beautiful and worth appreciating. Meanwhile, others feel anxious, worried that this could trigger conflict or place greater pressure on both of them. Amid all this speculation, one thing is certain: the world's attention is now fixed on them. Every movement, every word, every expression will be analyzed more intensely than ever before. And in a situation like this, the pressure they face is undoubtedly immense. Will they eventually provide clarification? Or will they choose to remain silent, allowing the public to interpret everything on their own? And most importantly, does what has been revealed truly reflect reality, or is it just a fragment of a far more complex story? An anonymous source claiming to have once been in the same environment as them added a statement that only deepens the mystery. They said that the relationship between Taehyung and Jungkook has always had an unusual dimension. They did not elaborate further, but it was enough to spark even greater curiosity. What does unusual dimension actually mean? Does it imply deeper feelings? Or simply a level of closeness that is difficult to define with words? In a world filled with image and perception, distinguishing between reality and illusion is never easy. What we see is often the result of careful filtering. But when even a small crack appears, as it has now, everything hidden can slowly begin to surface. And perhaps that is exactly what is happening. A secret that has long been concealed is now beginning to show itself. Not fully clear, not completely revealed, but enough to make everyone question: what really happened between Taehyung and Jungkook? Why is this surfacing now? And what impact will it have on their future? One thing is certain: this story is far from over. In fact, it may only be the beginning of something much bigger. A story not just about two individuals, but about how relationships, trust, and secrets can shape a narrative so powerful. And in the midst of it all, we can only wait, waiting for the next piece, waiting for answers that may come, or may never come at all. Will the truth finally be revealed? Or will it remain a mystery forever suspended between reality and imagination? And just when it seemed like the tension surrounding this revelation could not grow any stronger, a new wave of speculation began to rise, quietly at first, then all at once, like a storm no one saw coming. Could it be that what was revealed was only the surface of something far more intricate? Was that single sentence merely an accidental slip, or a fragment of a truth that has been carefully guarded for years? As discussions intensified, fans and observers alike began revisiting not just moments, but entire timelines. Every shared stage, every behind-the-scenes clip, every subtle interaction that once felt ordinary was now being re-examined under a completely different lens. The question that kept resurfacing almost obsessively was impossible to ignore. How much of what we believe to be normal friendship was actually something deeper, something deliberately understated? There were moments, small, fleeting, almost invisible at first, that suddenly felt heavier with meaning. A hand lingering just a second longer than expected. A glance that seemed to carry unspoken words. A quiet pause in the middle of laughter that now appeared loaded with emotion. These fragments, once dismissed as insignificant, were now being pieced together like clues in a puzzle no one realized they were solving. And yet, with every new interpretation, a new doubt emerged. Were these moments truly evidence of something hidden? Or were they simply reflections of the human tendency to search for meaning where none was intended? The line between reality and perception grew thinner, more fragile, until it became almost impossible to separate one from the other. What made everything even more unsettling was the timing. Why now? Why would something like this surface at this exact moment, when both Taehyung and Jungkook stand at such pivotal points in their lives and careers? Some began to suspect that timing itself was not coincidental, that perhaps there were forces, visible or invisible, guiding when and how certain truths come to light. Others, however, rejected that idea entirely, arguing that not everything has to be part of a larger scheme, that sometimes the most impactful revelations are the ones that happen by accident, without intention, without strategy. But even that explanation left an uncomfortable gap, because if it truly was an accident, why did it resonate so deeply? Why did it feel as though it confirmed something many had sensed but never fully understood? Meanwhile, silence continued to dominate from all official sides. No statements, no clarifications, no attempts to steer the narrative in any particular direction. It was a silence that felt almost deliberate, as if acknowledging the situation would only amplify it further. But in doing so, it created a vacuum, one that was quickly filled by theories, interpretations, and an ever-growing sense of anticipation. Some began to wonder if this silence was, in itself, a form of communication. Not a denial, not a confirmation, but something in between, a way of allowing the story to exist without defining it. Because once something is defined, it becomes fixed, limited. And perhaps whatever exists between Taeyong and Jungkook is something that cannot be easily confined to labels or explanations. Still, the emotional weight of the situation continued to build. Fans who had followed their journey for years found themselves caught between curiosity and protectiveness. They wanted to understand, to know the truth, but at the same time, they feared that uncovering too much might disrupt something fragile, something deeply personal. There were also those who began to question the ethics of it all. Should something so intimate, so potentially personal, even be discussed at this scale? Just because a fragment of information has surfaced, does that justify turning it into a global narrative? These questions lingered, uncomfortable and unresolved, adding another layer of complexity to an already intricate situation. Amidst all this, a new perspective began to quietly emerge, one that shifted the focus away from what is the truth to why does the truth matter so much to us? Why are people so invested in defining the nature of their relationship? Is it because of who they are, or because of what they represent? Because in many ways, Taeyong and Jungkook are not just individuals, they are symbols. Symbols of connection, of loyalty, of a bond that has withstood time, pressure, and global attention. And perhaps that is why this revelation feels so significant, not necessarily because of what it reveals, but because of what it challenges. It challenges the narratives people have built. It challenges the assumptions that have been comfortably accepted. And most of all, it challenges the idea that everything worth knowing must be clearly defined and openly understood. As the days pass, the intensity does not fade, it evolves. The conversation becomes less about finding definitive answers and more about exploring possibilities. Could it be that the truth is not a single, clear-cut reality, but a collection of perspectives, each shaped by different experiences and interpretations? And if that is the case, then perhaps the real mystery is not what exists between Taeyong and Jungkook, but how we, as observers, choose to understand it. Because in the end, some connections are not meant to be fully explained. Some bonds exist in a space beyond simple definitions, beyond public understanding. They are felt more than they are described, understood more through presence than through words. So what if the secret that has caused such a stir is not something dramatic or shocking in the way people expect? What if it is something quieter, more subtle? Something that has always been there, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to be noticed. And what if, in searching for answers, we have already overlooked the most important truth of all? That whatever exists between them, whatever it may be, is real in its own way, regardless of how it is perceived, interpreted, or labeled. But even as that thought begins to settle, another question inevitably rises, refusing to be ignored.